like to thank the panel. Would open up for questions and such and discussion. Again, you've had some backgrounds, some of the science side from what we're doing in the military, to some of the uses of human simulation, and then also some of the future work that we'd like out there. So open up the discussion, and I'll let anyone in the panel question.
How much standardization is there between the services on which models you use, or?
No.
So I was hoping that maybe we could standardize, because like I said, I'm on the market, or in the market, and would like to figure out which way to go, and it'd be nice to take advantage of the existing equipment you've got modeled already. And
You know, it was interesting yesterday when Dr. Otis talked about what we need to do for the soldier, and it matches up exactly with what we're trying to do with eTool.
Yeah.
So the amount of crosstalk is kind of sad. we should be doing so much better.
so I wonder whether under TTCP you might be able to collaborate. I don't know, any of you are on TTCP?
John Lockett is.
So,
We have the challenge already, even within house, to collaborate, let alone even with our North American partners to collaborate.
it just seems like there's so much funding needed to get this right, and it would be silly for 5 of us to be
Parallel efforts.
parallel efforts, right? So I'm going to contact some of you and maybe come and see. I know John Lockett can come and see you. Because I'm all services, Army, Navy, Air, and we've got the same cockpit integration issues and the same load issues.
The challenge really isn't the scientists, it's the politicians and some bureaucracies. Everybody wants their kingdom. We'd be happy to work together. I mean, here's the space, divide it up, get some money, let's go to it. But it's, no, Army has to do what Army does. Congress is going to do.
But I mean, I
Generals,
wonder if
lives
you
are-
wouldn't have the flexibility. You each get this big pot of money because you're telling them that you're going to do it all, but do you have to tell them that you're actually leveraging other people's work? And that means you have 3 times the amount of money now to bring to the problem.
It's a battle. Rob, you had something?
Yeah. As a developer of some of these tools, one of the challenges we face is that there's really a broad set of desires. I only heard one person in the last 2 days say, here's something I don't care about. And thank you, Brian, for saying, I don't care about the shirt. You know, it's flexible, it's going to adapt. You know, what I care about is this big lump that I have to put on the warfighter someplace. And it's great to hear here's stuff I don't need. Because as a developer and with a broad set of problems, yeah, we want the tool to do everything, but the reality is to really make progress on some of these things, we're going to have to focus. We're going to have to narrow down. And if there could be coordination between the services on how we're going to focus and things we don't care about, that would be a big benefit.
And along those lines, it's a great point, Rob. The captain laid out the FY, the eTool, FY11, FY14 timeframe. And that's another thing that we need to do a better job. Not only carve out what the space is that we're trying to deal with, the variables, all that other stuff that we've said that go into defining the problem, but also to communicate to the developers what the end state is going to be. In many cases, this is not a continuing science experiment. For the most part, it's delivering a tool to an engineer to use at his desk that will take some training, whatever it is, Autodesk and Jack and some of the other guys provide those services. But that's what we're looking for. We can't go at 14 and say, oh, we need to do this too. That's something to consider as we go to the next level. But you really have to have the way we define things, because we define things literally a year at a time, that at 14, according to my documents, I have to hand this over. We get in trouble when we don't do that. So I don't think we do as scientists and engineers communicate that well to the developers. But to find that space though of environment and problem definition needs to be
And tied to that, I think therefore the challenge to the developers is to make sure that when you're having these conversations with us, ask that question. Because, you know, I wear both shirts, you know, I wear this, but I also wear a lab coat. I mean, I'm a nerd to heart, I admit it. And I have to remind people that, you know, when you're serving me, the one in uniform, that, like I said, there's a deadline, and you get in trouble if we don't, you know, meet that deadline. So if it isn't brought to you, when we, you know, bring that to you, ask the question, you know, what are the hard deadlines? What are the parameters? And so that you'll know those things as you are, you know, developing the product.
At O&R, they have what they call a technology transition agreement. So, for instance, for the e-tool effort, the customer is program manager for Marine Expeditionary Rifle Squad. So the whole scope of the project has to deliver at the end something that he is agreed to that he's going to take, and if we can deliver it, he will put it into play, he will use it. So that gets to, in one way O&R tries to tie delivery of something that's actually going to be meaningful and used and funded, invested in. I think you're talking more about the user input as to what's really relevant and important and what's not. And unfortunately, between you and O&R and PM-MERS and the actual soldier or Marine, there's so many layers there, and what you need to do, and we've talked about this at the kickoff meeting, is you need access to those guys to help you define and see what's really value added to that guy. So you can wipe out some of the variables that don't make any difference. Don't invest, don't spend any time.
I think one of the challenges for us also is obviously, especially with warfare and such now, the rapidly changing environment that our soldiers are in, our Marines are in, what we plan for 5 years out and what reality happens within, we don't know what's going to happen the next year or will be. It's where modeling can fit in to help us in those scenarios and plan up and prototype quickly, is to push to get it out there fast, because we don't have the time to make and wait type of thing, and by the time it's made, we don't need that anymore, we need something else type of thing. So that's where I think the military is really looking towards modeling to help with a lot of that. And then obviously this burden soldier that has to carry it all, how do we help he or she out? With that, I think we're behind schedule.
Thank you very much for the panel.